eat orange? Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I was planning on answering some questions.
Everybody's Mickey Mouse and blocks.
Oh, yeah?
Where's Goofy?
Where's
Goofy and the house?
Oh, Goofy's at the house? Anyways, we haven't been on YouTube in a while, and YouTube actually took down my last video. I don't know why. So we've been having some like technological issues there, and then my camera's been broken. And to be honest, it took me a while to even want to go bring it in to get fixed. Yeah, because I was kind of enjoying the break, and so was Cartia. We were just hanging out, doing a lot of things in our community, doing a lot of things in our church, and just really spending quality time together. So that's where we have been during this break. And actually our family has been going through some really hard times right now. So if you're a praying person, then it would be so nice for you to pray for my family, because as a family unit, we're just going through a lot right now. Cartia is just eating this bell pepper. Fun fact, bell peppers have way more vitamin C than oranges. And since this whole coronavirus thing is happening right now, we're just eating a lot of immune boosting foods right now. So I feel like the best way to come back onto YouTube after such a long time away is to answer some of you guys' questions. So I went on my Instagram and told you guys to ask me questions. So these are all of your questions. There we go. Are you in the camera now? Yes.
Please. Hello. I want more.
You have more orange? What is this called?
Peppermint.
What is this called?
Bell pepper.
Oh, it's a bell pepper? Are you sure it's not peppermint?
But I smell peppermint.
Okay, so the first question I'm going to answer is one by one of my friends, Logan. You guys saw him in my vlog. How do you handle having such a cute baby? I don't know, I have to take it day by day, right? Do you miss Tia, Yasmin, and Logan?
Yeah.
You miss baby Layla and Anna?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. The next question was actually asked by another one of my friends, and it is, how do you determine what parts of your personal life to share and to keep private? And I felt like this is such a good question. I feel like it's a really hard line to know what I want to share with you guys. Oh, thank you. I love you.
Cartia eat.
Yeah, Cartia eating. There's really no rule book on what to share and what not to share, but I feel like something I pride myself in through this platform is shedding a light on things that a lot of people don't want to talk about that I think should be talked about. I think that the more vulnerable I am online, the bigger the chain reaction is for people that watch to feel comfortable being vulnerable with people in their own lives. And honestly, to not feel alone. I feel like in the darkness, it's so much easier to hide things and for things to go unchecked. But as soon as you start shedding a light on it, that's where healing happens. And that's where just really positive things happen. So it's hard sometimes to know when to share just enough, but not too much. But there are a lot of things that I keep off limits talking about, one of which being her dad. There's tons of questions about her dad, and that's just something I'm gonna keep off limits. That's that. Honestly, the bottom line when I'm sharing online is I only share to help people. I feel like that makes it pretty easy for me to determine what I share and what I don't share. What are your plans for this year? Are you studying something? Actually, yes, I'm planning on going back to school this year, but this whole Corona thing has kind of put the biggest damper on that plan. I almost always get this question, but what do you think your life would be like if you didn't have Cartia? I have no idea. I have no idea what I would do without you, Bebe. It would certainly be very different. I would be very different. I think the biggest change that she's brought into my life is just who I am as a person in every single way. I think this question is weird because I just don't see the point in imagining if your life was different ever. So the bottom line is I don't know and I don't want to know. Update on the 1 million video. Okay, so if you watched my last video, which was my New Year's goals, I asked you guys to send me in some videos, which technically you can still do since I haven't posted the video yet. It's almost done and it's amazing. It makes me cry every time I watch it, so that is the update on that video. What did you do that Cartia is so smart for her age? I honestly have no idea. I just think it's because I've been a stay-at-home mom her entire life and I talk through everything with her. If I'm washing dishes, it's like I'm washing dishes right now. So she has a really broad vocabulary. And then my mom speaks to her in Spanish, so she already knows a few different languages at this point. I don't know, I just think it's that one-on-one time that we have every single day. Why do you never post? I got a few questions like this, like, oh, why have you been gone? You know, why don't you post as often as you used to way back in the day? Because like I said, it's a lot. This is a lot. And I definitely care more about, being here with her, experiencing her, talking with her, and like just enjoying her age, enjoying everything about her, as opposed to getting stressed out about filming. Are you dating anyone? I always get this question. No, I'm not dating anyone. What are your thoughts on the coronavirus? When it first came out, I think a lot of people took it not seriously, including me. I did not take it seriously. I heard so many conspiracy theories about it and that it wasn't that big of a deal, or because I'm young, and even it hasn't even affected babies, like I think 0 to 9 years old. So that made me feel really good that, oh, Cartia's safe. I'm young, I'm safe, but that's just a really wrong perspective to look at it. The more that information has come out, thankfully, we have the internet, so information is traveling super fast. But just because you aren't showing symptoms, you could be a carrier of the virus to other people that won't survive the sickness like you will. Anyone that's immune compromised or older are generally more at risk, and I think it's so crazy how fast it's spreading. And I just think my general takeaway is, wow, it's dark out there. It can really be dark out there. But one of my favorite sermons that I watched, I posted on Instagram a caption talking about it. It is in the darkness that the light becomes greater. And it is in times of darkness like this that the community needs to band together, obviously in a social distancing kind of way, but band together to help each other out. I'm volunteering for 2 different programs right now, Meals on Wheels here in the US that provides food for elderly, and also a bunch of school kids that are normally fed during public school, now that schools are shut down, aren't having access to breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we're going out of our way to drop groceries off to those families so that everyone is fed. I just think the takeaway is that you should limit contact with other people regardless if you're sick or if they're sick, as much as you can, and help people that are more at risk than you are. And just pray, just pray, because God is good through all of this. Are you still breastfeeding Cartia? No. In my last Q&A I was. Wow, I haven't done a Q&A in a really long time. How do you handle all of the stress? Obviously life is more stressful right now with the virus going on. And she figured out to play the piano.
What's that?
You want to show them your piano? Are you playing the piano? Okay, I just put Cartia down for a nap so that I can finish the rest of this video without her running around in it. Another question that really stood out to me was, what advice would you give someone who wanted to have children but is afraid of bringing a child into an increasingly chaotic, uncertain, and scary world? Allie, you're such a wonderful mother. I truly believe that you have discovered God's unique purpose for your life. You're living according to His plan every single day as you mother your precious daughter and spread hope to the world. I pray that you and Cartia will continue to be blessed just as you have been a blessing for many others. That is so sweet. Oh man, that made me smile. Thank you so much, Melanie. That's a really good question. I feel like when you're living life, there's 2 different lenses. Actually, there's many different lenses, but 2 very distinct different lenses that you can look at life with, are lenses of fear or lenses of love. And I feel like we've seen that with this whole corona thing going on, especially fear just kind of being such a huge theme in everybody's lives. And I can choose to look at life through a filter of fear, and I did for a long time. When I first had her, especially, your new mom, obviously I'm a single mom, so I felt like I had to worry enough for 2 people technically, you know, because I just thought like, well, I'm the only one that's worrying. I need to worry a little bit extra, which is not a good mindset. But I feel like you can worry about everything. At the end of the day, you can worry about literally everything. When you step into your car, you can worry about that, getting in an accident. But if anyone believes in the law of attraction, or just the idea when it rains, it pours, bad things get worse, and then good things get better, just I feel like is kind of true to a degree, that when you're focusing on bad things, you will kind of attract bad things into your life. You will see negativity in everything if you are looking through life with a filter of fear. But if you put on a filter of love, above all these things, put on love, your perspective in life will change. You will start seeing the beauty in everything. And I have to thank Cartia for reintroducing me to that, for looking at everything. She looks at everything with wonder and love and fearlessness. It was through being her mother that I learned so much how important that filter is. You just live life. She doesn't worry. She doesn't wake up in the morning and worry about things. She just lives fearlessly and lovingly to everyone that she meets, and I think that we should all be more like children in that way. Not to be naive, but to be unconditionally loving in everything that you do. So to be scared to have kids in this world as chaotic as it is, it's chaotic all the time, and it always will be. But I don't see why that should stop you from such an amazing blessing and stewarding that blessing and protecting that blessing. Were you ever nervous to be so open about your faith? Since I got so many questions about my faith on here, because I think I'm super duper open about it on Instagram, the answer to that is yes. There was a time when I first started that I thought to myself that if I'm too open about my faith or my beliefs, then people won't want to watch our videos, or people just won't listen to the underlying message of all my videos, which is always going to be love. It's always going to be love. And I think that's a really good message to have, but some people might get turned off because my beliefs are different than theirs. But the core of my beliefs is that God is love. He loves us unconditionally, and we need to be like him and love others unconditionally. And the Bible is the greatest love story of all time. That is my beliefs in a few sentences. That's it. And I just felt like I was nervous about that for a long time, but then I realized if you're gonna be nervous about that, then I'm not really promoting my ultimate message, because there's no way I would be able to be so loving to people or loving to Cartia if it wasn't for love himself, for God himself. So, okay, so this is a super good question. Is it hard to feel like yourself when your whole existence centers around somebody else? Wow, what a thought-provoking question. Yes. It is so hard. There's very much an identity issue when you center your life on anything, really. Like, just center your life. If you make the cornerstone of your life a person or people, a job, a hobby, if you center your life on that thing, I think it's very hard to know who you are outside of that thing. You hear this a lot in the mom community, because as soon as kids are in school or your kids are out of the house, they kind of have this identity crisis, because it's like, oh my gosh, who am I if I'm not being a mom anymore? And of course you're always a mom, but I totally get that. And I think it's such a good question we should all be asking ourselves, not just moms, but if you center your life around any person or anything, you will not always find who you are, because it's just going to be so based on that thing. So yes, it is hard technically, but I have really found my identity in my faith. Bottom line is I believe God is love, and if my life is built on that cornerstone, then who I am, I end up finding myself. The more I find God, the more I find myself. And that might sound so weird to people, but it's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Look to the world and try to find yourself, and you will never find yourself. But if you look to me, not only will you find me, but you will find yourself. And that could not be more true. It makes me a better mom. It makes me a better friend. It makes me a better daughter. All of these things that I've always wanted to be, and I've always emptily tried to be, it's like easy for me to be now because my life is built on my faith, which is so cool. Okay, that's as many questions as I'm gonna answer today. I think I'm gonna have to cut a bunch out of this video because it's really long. But thank you so much for going on my Instagram and asking. If you haven't already, go ahead and follow me on my Instagram because that's a place where I'm pretty active. I'm posting stories on there almost every single day. I just want to say really quickly that I pray and hope that everyone stays so safe and healthy during this corona outbreak, and that we can just band together as a community to help those that are more susceptible to the virus and just show love in this time and be contagious with love in this time instead of being contagious with fear and panic, that we can have love and hope because those are the things that we should cling to in the times of darkness. Again, I love you guys. Thank you. We will see you in our next video.